Hey guys, last minute I decided to do a grocery haul because this week I have decided that I'm going to be doing some meal prep based on, I don't know how many of you guys are from Texas, but we have H-E-B here and they do something called Meal Simple where they already have meals put together for one person in little throwaway containers, and it'll be like a chicken breast with some vegetables, or a steak with some vegetables, or a piece of salmon with some vegetables. And you throw the whole thing in the oven at 375 for 22 minutes and it's done, and then you throw away your pan. So I wanted to duplicate that because when I got it, it was kind of underwhelming. The chicken was really good and tender and moist, but the vegetables were super bland. So anyways, this is my grocery haul and I'm just going to talk about what my plans are for all of my items, what meals I'm going to be putting together. I'm not really going to be going over prices because, like I've said in previous videos, prices vary from week to week, grocery store to grocery store, even in the same state from town to town. So to me, that's just all kind of a moot point. So I'm just going to jump right into it so I can get this stuff in the refrigerator and get it put up for the night because it's actually kind of late as well. So let me go ahead and start out with the meal prep stuff. I buy, and I'm so glad Kroger started carrying this. H-E-B has been the one to carry this and what turned me on to this, but this natural chicken in a box. And so basically what the chicken in here looks like, and this video is going to be a little rough. I'm going to go ahead and warn you. There's probably going to be a lot of background noise, me sliding around, scooting around, so please just excuse all those noises right off the bat. Go into it knowing that that's what this video is. It's not going to be cleaned and polished because I just decided to do this last minute. So I'm not going to do a bunch of takes. But anyways, I already had some in the freezer, so I was going to show you. I pulled this out to show you so I didn't have to open up my new chicken. That's what's in here, and you get, I believe, like 5 to 7. See, I think the H-E-B one, you get 4 to 5 in each box, or maybe it's 4 to 6. But in this box, you get, from the Kroger ones, you get 5 to 7, and they're just vacuum sealed frozen chicken breasts. And the reason why I like these is because it's just me and my husband and a baby. So we don't have a big family, so buying a big thing of chicken breast that's already thawed, that's ready to go, I'm not gonna cook that much. So for me to be able to pull out one chicken breast is great. And then the other thing is, because these are vacuum sealed, I can put these in the refrigerator, and if I don't get to cook them that day, I have like almost a week. And I would say, don't quote me on that. Always examine your own chicken. Never just assume that you have an entire week on your chicken. Always check for smells, Google what you're supposed to use, and err on the side of caution. If you're not sure about your chicken, don't take the risk. Toss it. Chicken's not that expensive. It's not worth a trip to the hospital and poisoning your family. But on average, I tend to get at least a week out of my sealed chicken in the refrigerator. So that's why I started buying this, because I got tired of throwing out my chicken, because I do err on the side of caution. If it is the least bit slimy or smells kind of, I don't know if y'all know that smell from raw chicken, but it kind of has a very specific smell when it starts to go bad. If it just kind of reminds me of that smell, I just toss it. I'm not gonna risk it with chicken. It's too dangerous. But anyways, so that's what this looks like. There's 5 to 7 chicken breasts like this already in this box and ready to go. So I can split these up, put some of them in the refrigerator. So the other thing I got is this 6-pack of pans with lids. So my idea is tonight I'm gonna be putting these chicken breasts with my vegetables in these pans, putting the lid on them and putting them in my refrigerator. And that way for the next 2 or 3 days, I can pull these out and put them in the refrigerator. So my chicken will actually come out of this package and go into the pan. And that's why I say only about 2 or 3 days, because my chicken's not gonna be wrapped up and sealed super well. And then the vegetables I got to go in these are organic Brussels sprouts. I peel off a few of the outer leaves, I slice them in half, and then I will just season them with olive oil, salt and pepper, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top of that. And I'm not 100% sure how these will cook in the little dishes, so I might actually have to, I know I made potatoes last week, potatoes and carrots, and I had to pop those in for an extra 20 minutes. So I would suggest, if you are trying to do something like this, just keep in mind that you might have to I removed the chicken, put it in the microwave, and didn't turn the microwave on, just did that to keep it warm, and put my vegetables back in the oven. But you could just prep your vegetables, have your chicken, which is already in your little package, set in the refrigerator beside it or on top of it or whatever. I like to put these on a plate. I don't like to just put them on my refrigerator, even though they're sealed. I'm just really weird about chicken. I'm very, very careful with chicken. I don't like the idea of it being on the shelf in my refrigerator with everything else as it thaws out. But you could do something to put that like maybe in a baggie beside it or some, I don't know, on a plate or on top of your little container. And then pop your vegetables in for 15 to 20 minutes before, and then open your little package of chicken, pop that in, put a thing of seasoned butter on top of that, and then put it back in the oven to finish cooking your vegetables and start cooking your chicken. I got an organic yellow squash, which this could just go straight in with the chicken. This is not going to take long to bake, so I would probably just put either some pesto or maybe some butter and garlic or a little bit of onion with the squash beside my chicken. And some organic green beans. This is another one that you won't have to put in longer than your chicken. This can just go all prepped together and with the chicken, good to go. Again, this is another one that's just some butter and garlic, maybe some Parmesan. Pretty simple the way I season my vegetables. So I got 2 organic onions, and these I use to just throw in different dishes. I don't know about you guys, but my onions tend to go bad really quickly. So a little tip that I've learned is if you chop these up in advance, and especially if you have a food processor like I do, just run them through the food processor, put them in a baggie, and then you can freeze them, and then whenever you're cooking something, you can't use them fresh because they kind of get mushy, but anytime you're cooking something, you can just scoop out some of, well, I end up breaking off some of my chopped onion and throwing it in whenever I'm cooking to keep those from going bad. So I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put up this stuff, and then I will talk about some of my other groceries. Y'all aren't gonna notice a time delay, but just so you know, when stuff is missing off the table and everything looks different, that's what happened. Okay, I played with the lighting a little bit, and I think I just made things worse. So if everything starts to look really different, that's why. But I'm back to talk about the salads now. So I just got this organic half blend. I think it's half baby spinach, half spring mix. My plan is to take this, put it in some mason jars, throw in a couple of grape organic tomatoes in some of the mason jars, and then I got some other salad items to kind of mix up and have different salads all the time. I got some organic craisins from the bulk area, and I do that to save money but also to get the portions. If I were to buy a thing of craisins, then I would have to buy a whole bag of them, and I would just have way too much. This is going to be enough for salads and maybe a few to snack on. And then in turn, I end up spending like less than $1 on this. And then I also bought a couple of dates like this. And for example, I think these dates cost maybe $1, probably less, maybe just like a couple, I don't know how much they cost, but they were inexpensive. Whereas if I buy a package of dates, I have to buy a whole thing, which is gonna give me probably around 20 dates. And it's gonna be like $6. Whereas this is $1 or less, and I only get what I need for my salad. Then I got some organic blueberries. These are great in my salad, plus my baby likes to eat these as well. And I got an organic orange, and my idea behind this is salad dressings have a lot of additives in them, corn syrup and MSG. So salad dressing is really just olive oil, vinegar, buttermilk, and some sort of, depending on the type, some sort of sweetener or some sort of salty, which would be like your vinegar, some salt and pepper, honey, something like that. So my idea for one of my salad dressings would be some orange, salt and pepper, and some honey, and just kind of play around and might add different things just to see what goes, maybe some balsamic vinegar, I don't know. That's something I have to play with. But I will be making my dressings separate. I'll just mix them up in a bowl real quick, taste it, make sure it's what I like, and then dump in my mason jar of salad that I've already prepared and put in the refrigerator. Which leads me to my big thing of buttermilk. This is full fat buttermilk, and you can only get the full fat at my stores in this bigger container. So I'll be using this to marinate some of my chicken, which will make it more tender, and also to kind of play around and see if I can't come up with some salad dressing. And then I got some organic corn chips to kind of make a taco salad. I have some ground beef in the refrigerator, so I will probably take that ground beef, brown it, mix in some taco seasonings, and use it for tacos, and then also for my salad. And then I'll put the ground beef and some tomatoes and some of the corn tortilla chips crunched in there. So it just gives me some variety in my salads. And that salad will also include some cheddar cheese. I have Black Forest ham for sandwiches, but also I can put in a salad, kind of make a chef salad with cheese and ham, a little bit more filling, some tomato and lettuce. I decided to try these Vlasic Purely pickles that have no artificial flavors or colors or preservatives, and they're the sliced, so they go great on sandwiches. I normally buy Dixie sliced sour pickles, I think, or maybe they're just dill, but they're the hamburger slices. They have some ingredients in it that I just don't really want in my pickles. I've actually been wanting to try some real fermented pickles that you have to buy in the refrigerated section, but my grocery store this time only had bread and butter pickles, which I hate. They have the Clausen over there, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. I've heard about, using real fermented foods and adding them into your diet for the health benefits, and one of the things that I've heard suggested is to start having some real fermented pickles. So the pickles you get at the grocery store are not fermented. I don't know all the science behind it, but I did watch a pickle expert on YouTube, and he talked about a cloudy brine being a sign of a more natural pickle, I think. I could be butchering that. But this was very cloudy, and it is made with sea salt and GMO-free cucumber. So overall, it is a more healthy product. So I thought I'd give it a try. I'm normally not a huge Vlasic fan because their pickles are not real, they don't have that real good crunch, and then they're just not super sour. They have a very specific flavor. Even though the Dixie sandwich slices aren't super crunchy, they do have a very intense, sour, salty flavor that I love. My mouth is actually watering just talking about it. So this will be a little bit of an experiment for me. Then we also got some Simple Truth uncured Canadian bacon, because I have some plain bagels that I keep in the refrigerator because they last longer and we just take longer to eat food here. But anyways, if you cook your egg in advance, you can actually assemble your own little breakfast bagel, wrap it up in aluminum foil in your refrigerator. I normally split my bagel in half, put a cooked egg, some ham or cooked bacon, and then some cheese, wrap it in aluminum foil, and then you can just pop that in the oven and the cheese will get melty, your egg will heat up, and you have a breakfast sandwich really quickly. Then I bought a chicken pot pie. I buy the creamy Parmesan chicken pot pie because my son will eat them and I can sneak in some veggies, and then also it's so big, they only sell it in the large personal size, so it's so big that we can eat it together, and I knock out one lunch for both of us. Then other vegetables I bought were some frozen chopped spinach to throw in smoothies because my son will eat them and that's a way to get a vegetable in him. Some frozen organic corn because that's one of the few vegetables he likes, and so it's easy to just reach my hand in, grab a handful of corn, warm that up, and throw it with whatever he's eating. I got some of these drinkable probiotic drinks. I normally don't buy these, but my husband was wanting a healthier alternative for smoothies, and he's not really a very healthy eater. He doesn't like fruits and vegetables. To create a healthier smoothie for him, I would typically use like a probiotic fruit juice. Sorry, I had to get up. I was gonna check something in my refrigerator, and my refrigerator won't open because I have a camera in front of it on a tripod. So anyways, I figured this was like a healthy thing that I could pour in there that's so small he probably wouldn't taste it. I don't know if that would dilute it too much. I need to do a little bit of research and figure out if that even does anything at that point. But if it doesn't, I will drink those. And then I got some organic apple juice. This is good to thin out his smoothies so that we're not adding in milk and adding in the fat or ice cream or anything like that. I don't like using ice and water. It's just, it doesn't have the same flavor. I guess the sugar is what I'm getting at there. But anyways, apple juice is really good to thin out your smoothies. And then also having a 1-year-old in the house, apple juice is just good to have in general. I'm trying to go over all my cold items so I can get these put up, and then I'll come back and finish talking about everything else. We buy the grass-fed, we bought 2%. We've been buying whole milk, the grass-fed Horizon organic milk. There is actually a huge difference in the taste. I'm not a milk drinker, and I actually like this. It's very sweet, almost like a cream. And since we started buying it, my son really won't drink any other kind of milk now. So we're kind of stuck buying it. It's expensive, but the whole milk I like buying because it adds a little bit of extra fat. He kind of leans more towards the thinner side. I just like having something fattening for him to have a big cup of milk in the morning, or whenever I add it in for him to have some fattening milk. We also buy the Horizon Heavy Cream. I use this in my coffee, just a little drop of it, but it is delicious in your coffee. And then as well, when I do give him 2% milk, I would pour some of the heavy cream in it to fatten it back up. I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff put away, and then I will come back once again and talk about the rest of the stuff on the table. Okay, and I'm back. My camera view probably changed a little bit because I had to move the camera to get to my refrigerator to put stuff up again. So again, this video is kind of a mess, but so are all my others, so I don't think y'all's expectations are ever that high for me anyway. So something else we bought was organic long grain white rice. And typically my husband likes to buy the organic basmati, but they didn't have any, and I was kind of glad because this is better for arroz con leche, which if you don't speak Spanish, that's just rice and milk. I equate it to like a Mexican oatmeal. I make it as more of like a breakfast food, but I also just kind of snack on it sometimes too. 1 can of evaporated milk, and now my grocery store sells organic, which I'm so excited about. Not the price, it is like 3 times the price of regular evaporated milk, but it's organic. So 1 can of that, and then 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. Again, they sell it in organic, and it is like 3 times the price of the non-organic, but I make the sacrifice. You just throw your cooked rice in a pot with your can of evaporated milk and your sweetened condensed milk, and then you put in a little bit of cinnamon till you like the taste, and you basically just cook it until it's warm. And then I normally transfer it to a Pyrex, and we just eat from it all week long. But that will last. I don't make the whole thing for arroz con leche. That rice will also last me for other things, for side dishes and whatever we need. My husband loves rice, so we go through it pretty quickly. The other thing I buy is organic soy sauce. We use it more as a marinade, so it goes in our steak marinade, and then also sometimes we'll marinate chicken in it, just different things. So we end up using it like 1/4 of a cup at a time, so it goes pretty quickly. I picked up some Echinacea Immune Support tea because I used my last tea bag this week, and even if you're not interested in the health benefits, this is the best tea. It has like cinnamon and let's see, what they actually say it is peppermint, lemongrass, and licorice. Let me tell you something, I hate licorice and I love this tea. It has black pepper in it. And so you get that sounds crazy, but you get that bite from the black pepper, and it just has an amazing, it has cinnamon. I mainly taste the cinnamon and the black pepper. You do taste the licorice in the smallest way, but it's like it's like an undertone, so it's not overwhelming for people like me who don't like licorice. I don't know, it's the best tea. I love it. And then I buy these for my son. It's kind of his version of candy, so if he's getting hangry and I'm making him something to eat at the moment, I just give him one of these and he literally just lights up, and it's just a ball of peanut butter. But it's not sticky like as if you were to actually scoop it out of peanut butter. And even though it's not organic or anything like that, I don't believe it contains corn syrup, so it's not the worst that it could be. I saw from someone on Twitter that these came back, and I was so excited. Every time I go to the grocery store, I look for them, and I went to H-E-B and I was so bummed they didn't have them, but at my Kroger, they were on like a big end cap, and I was like, oh, I know these probably aren't good for me, but I have to have them just for nostalgia's sake. But as a kid, this is what was in our pantry, and I loved these, so it'll be interesting to see if I still like them. I'm kind of scared to actually even look at the ingredient list because I don't know, but I feel it in my gut. So then my husband likes olives in his tacos. I don't know, he says that's a Mexican thing. I've never heard of it, but we try and pick him up olives when we know we're gonna make tacos, and then he'll just snack on them as well. So got some olives. I have no idea what this is gonna taste like. I mean, it's gonna taste like watermelon. I don't know how ripe it is. I'm like 99% sure it's not watermelon season, but it is just a personal one. But I was trying to find more things for my son to snack on that aren't just crackers and cookies and all this processed food, and giving him more fruits. So I found these. I was like, it's worth it. I'll just try it. And honestly, it was probably grown inside of a like little grow house or whatever. It probably wasn't grown outside, so it doesn't matter how winter it is for watermelon. Speaking of things that probably aren't in season, picked up a mango, an organic mango. My son will eat mangoes, and so will I. It's big enough. I might even chop some up and put it in a salad. And then I'm sure I've said this in a previous video, pink lady apples are my favorite. So my son will eat apples, I'll eat apples, my husband will eat apples, so they're great for snacking. And then once they start to go bad, I will typically cut off the bad spot, chop them up, and cook them in a skillet with some cinnamon and sugar and do something with them, whether we just kind of eat them as baked apple sort of thing, like a skillet apple, or I make some sort of dessert out of it. I typically find a use for all my apples. And then, don't judge me, I bought a pack of paper plates, and my reason behind that is because they're great for lunches. See, since me and my husband are typically home for lunch, it's not like we're going to an office and eating out of a container and just having like one little dish. We end up like cooking at home and stuff and having all these dishes, and it becomes overwhelming with everything else in our lives. So for lunch, it's great to have a paper plate, and with me doing the meal prep this week, to be able to make it in the disposable pan and just throw everything away and not have a sink full of dishes right in the middle of the day. You already have dishes from breakfast because you have bowls for cereal and everything else, and then you have dinner dishes, which includes pots and pans and plates and silverware and glasses. It just ends up being way too much to handle. So I like having paper plates for lunch. And then, I don't know how many of you watch my other videos, but I was talking about how I didn't like how my new backdrop looked. It looked really empty. So I found these for $1.99 at my Kroger, which is just a little 10-pack of clovers. So that is my grocery haul. I hope this wasn't too terrible. I'm gonna find out during editing how all this is gonna turn out. But thank you guys for watching another video, and I will see you guys soon.